Good evening, everyone. I have 7 o'clock. I call the meeting to order and ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Thank you. Mr. Greg David,
Present.
Mr. Tyler Dean,
Here.
Ms. Emily Hamburg,
Here.
Mr. Brandon McIntosh,
Present.
and Mr. Mike Proctor.
Here.
And you have a quorum, Mayor.
Thank you. This evening, we have Father Terry Hedrick to lead us in prayer. Father Hedrick.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, as we gather together for the City Council of Bel Aire, we pray that you would be with them by your Spirit, that you would minister direction and for them. We thank you that when we gather in the name of your Son, you are present with us by your Spirit. And so we acknowledge that again this evening and give you thanks. I pray specifically for each of the members and for Mayor Jim Benage and ask that you would grant them as they discuss all of the different agenda items this night, that you would lead them and guide them, that you would help them to work together for the common good of the city. We give you thanks for all of the leaders of Bel Aire and pray especially for first responders, law enforcement, EMS, and firefighters. And so, Lord, as you grant them wisdom, charity, and justice this night, we pray that you would give them a steadfast purpose for the common good of our community. And so grant them that they may love mercy, do justice, and walk humbly with you, and we'll give you thanks. We ask all these things in the strong and wonderful name of our Savior, Jesus, who lives and reigns with you, Heavenly Father, and the Holy Spirit, our advocate and guide, the one that witnesses to us that we belong to you. And so we give you thanks, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Please join me in pledge allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is to determine whether we have any agenda additions. Are there any additions to the agenda this evening? Hearing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. I'll get my notes back up here. Well, sorry, the mouse isn't helping me. Okay, so it only contains the minutes of the last city council meeting of April 7th of 2026.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. David,
a motion to approve the consent agenda is listed and authorize the mayor to sign.
Second.
motion by Mr. David, a second by Mr. Dean. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 I hear 5 ayes. Any opposed? The motion carries 5-0. Move on to discussion and approval of the appropriations ordinance. So this appropriation ordinance encompasses the expenses from April 1st through April 14th and one payroll cycle. Expenditures amount to $1,481,939,000. Of the reported expenses, $25,461 are infrastructure costs for new developments, and these costs are paid through special assessments. Any questions or concerns with the appropriations ordinance?
Mr. Mayor,
Ms. Hamburg.
I'm going to make a motion to approve appropriations ordinance number 26-07.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Ms. Hamburg, a second by Mr. David. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I hear 5 ayes. That motion carries 5-0. We have city requested appearances. So the first one, there he is. Okay, so the council, Bel Aire Chamber of Commerce, President Luis Rodriguez Vera is here to update the chamber's activities. So Mr. Rodriguez Ferreira. I never call you by that name.
That's all right.
Thank you.
Hey, good evening, everybody. So first thing that I wanted to bring up, Ted and I kind of spoke about this, but was the cost breakdown of the Spring Fest for this year. So the total cost of this year came down to $6,972. And if you'd like, I can break it down kind of item by item, but any questions kind of regarding the Spring Fest expenditure?
Okay.
It was a pretty fun event. Lots of we had a few people volunteer that we don't normally see. A few people who had joined the membership as well. And speaking of membership, I kind of wanted to go over those numbers as well. Update us to how many we have as of right now versus how many we had the year prior. So as of today, we are sitting at 26 total paid members. As of this time last year, we had 34. We're still working on kind of going through the community, speaking to those who we know that had previously joined, and seeing if they're still open to coming back for membership. Sometimes, unfortunately, it is a matter of it's just kind of falls by the wayside. We just kind of remind them, hey, just to let you know, you joined our membership the year prior, maybe even in prior years, but we are still trying to reach out, still trying to find people who can join. We are seeing a few new faces, but we're still looking to get people to join. So again, 26 this year, 34 the year prior. Any questions about that or any inquiries about kind of our activities that we're doing to get new members?
Mr. Proctor.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Rodriguez, what can the city do to help?
Besides just kind of talking to those who you may know that would definitely benefit from the chamber, it definitely helped us out a lot. As you may know, we still have some open positions to fill. I'm currently in a double role as being the president and the treasurer. So definitely, as much help as we can get. If you know anybody who would be willing to volunteer, that's something that you can help with. But as far as what the city can do specifically, or the council, I can't think of anything at this moment. We're still trying to get, we're kind of right now talking about possibly speaking to kind of Key Chai and seeing what other sort of chambers are doing to grow their member base. But at this moment, I don't have anything specific that the council could assist with.
Okay. I have in years past gone out to various businesses and campaigned for that, and I certainly will be willing to do that as well when I have time. But yeah.
And may I ask kind of what that looks like when you do that? You just visit the businesses themselves. Is there any specific list that you target?
I use a list that I get from our executive director,
Right.
Kim, but basically mostly it's cold calling. I don't set an appointment with them. I just show up and say, hey, I'm the mayor, and would you be interested in rejoining the council or the chamber? And usually get pretty positive response, but so.
When you speak of the new faces you've seen, can you kind of describe what the new faces look like? Are they small businesses? Are they new residents? Just kind of trying to learn more about the city. What does that look like? And what would be a good target business in your guys' thoughts?
It is a few small businesses. Like we have a new group that had just joined that are starting out in the insurance business. They came in for our March meeting that Mike had hosted for us, and but it does seem to be newer businesses, the smaller businesses that join. So generally, who we are trying to target are those smaller businesses, just to help them get exposure, especially with the events we hold. We try to promote them and do the best we can to help them integrate with the community.
Right. Good.
Yeah.
Very good. Mr. Proctor, you have another question? Oh, you're,
Figured I'd space them out a little bit, you know. Mr. Mayor and President Rodriguez. So what do you think a thriving chamber does for Bel Aire? Like if the chamber's really pumping and going, how does the city in general benefit?
That's a great question. So from my perspective, I think having a chamber really does help provide that sort of like bridge and communication with like the businesses. So our hopes is that, you know, the smaller businesses are able to communicate with us some sort of need that we can be able to provide them. It'd be, you know, connecting with another business that may be able to, you know, partner with, or even just provide them, you know, exposure. So like bring them to, you know, some of our events, or, you know, we hold a couple mixers a year so that they can be able to network with some of the other businesses. So as far as from what my experience is, like that connection is what that would look like. But I guess that's the answer, the best answer I can give you right now, man.
what I find is when I went out canvassing a little bit, interesting what businesses we have, and sometimes you don't really know. I mean, we have a retail business over here in this industrial park at 37th and Woodlawn that actually sells and rents tools, but mostly for construction type of tools. But I didn't know they were there until I walked in there and said, "Hey, how you doing, guys? What are you up to?" So, so it's always interesting to find out what they're doing and stuff, and you know, haven't got them to quite pull that trigger to actually join the chamber, but I have talked with them about it. So.
Yeah, I mean, like a really good example is our Fall Fest. So that's when a lot of vendors come in to set up their stalls. Like that's when, you know, people go around, meet some of the local businesses. I mean, I do really see the benefit of that,
Yeah.
of, you know, getting to know some of the businesses that maybe run from their home, or, you know, are just kind of in an area that a lot of people don't really explore all that often.
Yeah.
That's a really good opportunity for them to be able to expose themselves to the community.
Yeah. So there are definitely some things that you can gain some synergies there, but yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
Mr. Mayor.
David.
So the other side of that is, what does it do for them, for businesses to be part of that? You know, we talked about what it does for Bel Aire. I'm sure you have a bullet point list that says you'll get networking, blah, 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 if you join, right?
Absolutely.
What are those?
So as far as like what we like talk about when we're like going out and talking to them, the bullet points that we give them are, well, again, like we give them the answer of like, hey, you know, you're able to network. Also, it's kind of like a badge of honor. So, you know, we let them know that we're here to like benefit the community. We're here to grow the community. So having that sort of badge that we put at the front of their doors, like something that they can, you know, show other, you know, their patrons that, hey, we're a part of the chamber. We also talk to them about how, like we like to put like their names on our website and whatnot. So as far as like past that, we're still working on different ways to do it with like what we have available to us.
How about our festivals? Do we, you know, say sponsored by Bel Aire Chamber of Commerce? These
Yeah. So
businesses?
like for example, the Spring Fest is this year. You know, anybody who does sponsor us, we advertise them. We have like the radio DJ kind of talk about who is our current sponsors. Credit Union of America is one of our sponsors. Strive was one of our sponsors. But you know, we make sure that those who do have a who do sponsor us, that they're advertised that way. And same thing on like a website. We make sure to put a list of our current member base like on our website.
Does the chamber have any goals this year? I know you mentioned the current membership and what it was last year. Do you guys have a target goal for this year for membership?
I'm not sure that if we talked about a specific goal, because we are making a few changes. Like just recently we changed our lunch cost. So like what it is to like join our luncheon and what it is to cost. So we haven't specifically talked about like a goal.
Any other questions for Mr. Rodriguez Vieira?
Oh,
I was just, I don't want to jump in front of your question. I was just going to thank you guys for your help with the festival this year. I know you guys chip in a number of ways. I see Kim out there running around. So thank you guys for that. Okay, bye.
I was just going to ask a little bit about, the ways the chamber's pitching in on some of these city events, even the financial piece of it. How's the chamber doing with kind of, I guess, bearing the financial burden with that? Is the city giving enough money to the chamber to actually cover those events, or how's that going?
So I did pull the report of like what we spent last year for the various events that we did, and kind of what we've spent so far and what we've received so far in income. And definitely it seems like it's going to be tight. We've had to drop one of we used to hold 3 of the mixers. We definitely had to drop one of them and kind of scale back some of the other events. So it's definitely, we can definitely see a difference in like, okay, the drop in the amount that we had received from the city. For example, like this year we had spent $6,972 for the Spring Fest, whereas last year it was less. We had spent $5,329, but that's because the cost of some of the things that we need to order had gone up. So, like for example, the eggs that we lay on the field, that was a price increase. The DJ also increased price, and that's just something that I've seen naturally happen throughout every year, that they have to keep up with their pricing. So as far as the financial burden that we hold, we're definitely trying to make it up in membership renewals or new members, but it has not been easy. That's definitely true.
Okay, any other questions? Well, thank you for your report, and we appreciate the things that you guys are doing for the city, and we hope that we can get this membership growing and
Yeah, absolutely.
and do much better things. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Next, we have our city engineer, Ann Stevens, to tell us about updated traffic study that was conducted earlier this year. And I think everyone has a copy of this traffic study information that was handed out.
So I just wanted to step before the council and kind of show you what you got for the expenditure on the traffic counts. The counts in red or in black are the ones that we did in February of 26. The ones in blue were performed in September and October of 2021. So you can see there's kind of a big difference. All the intersections that were studied in 26 were not studied in 2021. And then there's 2 counts of 0 on the 53rd and Greenwich and 45th and Greenwich. Those are going into gravel roads, and we cannot lay the traffic counters across the gravel roads. So that's why they're 0. They probably should have just been blank, but have to make sure somebody asks at least one question. But kind of looking at the map, the traffic counts going north and south were fairly steady. They didn't seem to increase near as much as the counts going east and west. East and west, we had kind of the lowest was a 44% increase, and the highest was an 85% increase. So it's a fairly significant amount. North and south, we had one decrease by 2.5%, and then the rest were kind of in the neighborhood of 15 to 20% increase. But there's, not a whole lot of information you can draw. It is definitely good to have, especially as we're looking forward to new developments and higher uses over particularly 53rd and Webb and 53rd and Greenwich. I think these numbers are also good when new businesses are coming to look to the area, kind of to show them where we've been and where we're going with the growth.
So I just want to clarify a little bit. I don't see any numbers actually on 47th Street, but I assume those boxes look like they're about a quarter mile above 47th Street are the 47th Street numbers. Is that a correct assumption?
47th?
45th, I'm sorry.
45th, okay. I'm like,
Get
wait
the
a
right-
minute, wait a
Get the right
minute.
street number.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, it's, the counts were on, so it was the north part of the intersection, the south part of the intersection, the east and the west. So the intersections are, very small to try and put readable numbers to.
Okay. Okay. Any questions or concerns about this traffic study?
Mr. Mayor.
Mr.
So Ann, you didn't even try to get any peaks from this, or?
We do, we just didn't have
You just
anything
didn't show
to
'em.
compare them to from the 2021 traffic.
Okay.
So if that's something that you're interested, I believe that PEC has the data on that. They had actually given me data in a right turn, a left turn, and a straight through the intersection, but
Oh, wow.
trying to relay that to the information we had from 21, it was just too much. So I just asked them for the average daily traffic.
And just to clarify, you said the blue is from September 2021. The black was when? What was the date?
In February of 26.
Okay, so February of this year. Oh, I guess it does say that at the bottom of the map.
And then the 21 counts were all over a 7-day period. We put out the little tube counters that you see in Wichita, Sedgwick County. And then the PEC counts in 21 where I believe those were cameras.
Gotcha.
And that was only set out for, I want to say 2 days. So the negative 2.5% on 53rd and Rock going south, that may have been just the 2 days that we had counted. I wanted to make sure it was a school day. So we had the school traffic. That's very important. But there may have been weekend traffic that would have bumped it up that did not show in these numbers.
And I don't see the report, but I do, I guess, have a question. Did the numbers where we've seen the most significant increases correlate to the roads that we plan to upgrade first?
We just have the intersection counts, but those are the significant increases. Yeah, those are all basically right along 53rd. The intersections of 53rd and Oliver and 53rd and Woodlawn, and then 53rd and Rock all had pretty good increases.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or concerns with traffic count?
I did have one more question.
Certainly.
So the on 45th, do we have that data further west and we just didn't include it because we already have a project in the pipeline? Or do we have that data, or do we not have any data for 45th between Oliver and I guess Rock?
That was not
We didn't study that at all.
an
just to
intersection that
clarify.
we studied, correct?
Okay.
Oh,
That's all I have. Thanks.
okay. Mr. Proctor.
Mr. Mayor? Okay, how do you think this plays into some of the stuff we were looking at adding some four-way stops in town?
I think it plays right into, it just kind of gives us that extra benefit of the additional numbers to see the increases in traffic counts.
Okay, thanks.
Mr. Mayor,
Ms. Hamburg.
so where do we go from here? Or does this give you enough firepower to authorize a four-way stop at 53rd and Oliver, or what's next?
And that's really kind of up to council as far as making that final decision as to whether to put a four-way stop in there. That'll be in conjunction with the chief and then also with PEC's traffic engineers. I do think that we have a significant enough increase that it's definitely worth some strong consideration.
And I might talk a little bit to that, and we can 100% there. And if you remember when our discussions, a lot of this too is to start developing a story with WAMPO as we start looking at upgrading other areas. And as you can tell, using other data from earlier years, this is a good baseline data that we can continue this study every year and just develop that story. So not only does it help with the safety concerns along 53rd Street, but it sets that standard and we can keep building off that. And I can use it in economic development ventures and all those, but we kind of have to have that first year of good data and not that our previous years weren't good, but this sets the stage and we can continue to build on it.
Yeah, this shows the growth, and that's important to know. Yes. Okay, good. Okay, any other questions or concerns for Ms. Stevens? No, thank you for the information. I appreciate the update, and looks like we got some good data there. Thank you. Next, we move on to citizen concerns, and I have a card from Mr. Dave Landau. So if you want to approach the podium, and I think you know the rules, name, address, and I'll give you 3 minutes.
David Landau, 4743 North Kruger Street, Bel Aire, Kansas. And according to the mayor, about 5 years ago, they had a golf course ordinance came up, and the chief didn't want it. And while I respect your right to get his input, he doesn't have a vote. And so it failed then. That came up again here. And he had another report from the chief, and it was the poorest report I've ever seen. And you guys just sit there and took it like it was the gospel. And he never named one hazard to Bel Aire citizens. If I'm riding a golf cart down a residential street, what hazard am I to my neighbors or anyone else? I can fall out. I can get drunk, have my kids drive me. Kids can fall out, even though the state law requires seat belts and lights, etc. But you guys just kind of accepted that. Now, the other thing he said was that in the manual of golf carts, it says not intended for street use. Well, guess what that's there for? It's there because the golf cart company doesn't want to accept the liability of you driving your golf cart on the highway. So there's a good reason that's there. He said we had no golf course, so we had no reason for it. Got a disc golf course over there that the Lions Club generously donated. And if they donated it, it's still a golf course, regardless of what you call it. And number two, he decided that you can only use a golf cart on a golf course. I don't know who gave him the authority to name that's the only thing you can use it for. I could use it to go visit my neighbors because I can't walk the neighborhoods anymore. Could use it to go to one of our lakes, go fishing here in Bel Aire. And you can't go on Woodlawn. You can cross Woodlawn, you can cross Oliver, but you can only go on the neighborhood streets with it. And let's see. The other thing is going on a golf cart or a bicycle or walking down the street is a safety issue. You see more things driving down the street than you do if you drive by in your automobile. And, you know, I, as an umpteen-year-old guy, cannot drive my golf cart. And I've been driving for a few years here in Kansas now, and I know most of the traffic laws. But a little 4-year-old kid can get on his bicycle and ride down the same street and have no knowledge of traffic or laws or anything else. His parents probably shouldn't allow it, but he can still do it and be legal about it. He can get run over and get hit by a car. If I'm in a golf cart, I can get hit by a car. But there was nothing mentioned about what a hazard it is to the other people in Bel Aire. I think the chief also said it was a status symbol. A Mercedes and a Bentley is a status symbol. A golf cart is hardly a status symbol. And so I just don't swallow that argument either. The regs are already written by the state. The requirements have to be met, and you go from there.
Okay,
Also-
Mr. Landau, your 3 minutes are up, so if you just wrap it up real quick.
Okay, I'll go wrap it up real quick. There's no voting, I know, at a workshop, but there was a vote the other night. The chief voted he didn't want it, and the mayor voted he didn't want it, even though it wasn't legally a vote. That's what happened. It doesn't get to go on, so it's dead. And so other than that, I think the mayor and the chief would outlaw the Model T if they'd been given a chance. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, so just a point of correction. I've always advocated that we should look for golf carts, but I've always advocated for golf carts, and I don't know where you got the misunderstanding that I was against it. But regardless of that, I have actually told other citizens that if that was an issue that they wanted to do, I think the council needs to see something from the citizens that says that, like a petition or something like that. And that's fine if you don't want to do that. That's okay. But that's I think where the council's coming from,
You
but
guys
just from
against
here
it.
what they're saying.
And in my lifetime, I'll never see it, probably. So I'm just not going to worry about it anymore. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll move on to council member reports. Mr. Dean.
Mr. Mayor, I do have a short report. Just wanted to say it's been a long time coming with all the steps and the process, and was really happy to see that the woodlawn repairs started this week. Took a bike ride down there with my daughters the other day just to witness it with my own eyes. So just wanted to say that, and wanted to say to citizens I know it's been a long time, but we truly believe this is the best way to get it done as efficiently as possible. And it is going to be painful with it being fully closed versus partially closed as it was last time. But that is the decision we made. We feel like it's in the best interest. And so hopefully we'll get that wrapped up by middle of next year, and excited to see it started. That's all I had.
Okay, thank you. Mr. David.
Let's just echo Councilmember Dean that it's not fun to see the road torn up again, but the only way to get it finished is to get it started. So that's my report. Thank you.
Mr. Proctor.
Well, I don't mean to brag, but I joined city council and all of a sudden it's getting fixed. So that's all I got.
Okay. All right, thank you. Ms. Hamburg.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Last Monday, April 13th, I connected the CCUA, Chisholm Creek Utility Authority plant manager with the Bel Aire Scouts, and Tony was kind enough to give them a tour at 6:30 in the evening for them to get some of their environmental and water saving badges. So that was really cool. It was actually, I tagged along, and I had not been there since last summer with the Utility Advisory Board in person. And so it was good that was right before we started the wastewater expansion.
Mhm.
And so it was good to be out there and see all the things we've been talking about at CCUA meetings in person coming together. So that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Mr. McIntosh.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No report today.
No report. Okay, well, thank you. Hope you're enjoying your trip. So move on to the mayor's report. So got a few things because I wasn't here last city council meeting. So on March 26th, I attended the CCA board meeting as well. And I learned that due to some issues with KDHE, the water from the EPA mitigation project will not be made available to CCA for potable water. I started working on that to learn more about that issue, and the information is slow in coming, but depending on what I learn, I intend to raise this issue with KDHE as it represents more than 365 million gallons of water annually being wasted literally down the Arkansas River. In a time that Kansas is facing water shortages, it makes no sense to dump this amount of water down the river when it can be made usable with appropriate treatment. So on March 28th, I attended the Spring Festival, and I think the attendance was down a bit, but it was a great time, and I appreciate the help of the city, Bel Aire Lions Club, the Chamber of Commerce, the Bel Aire Police, and the Bel Aire staff for putting together another great event. April 6th, I represented the Bel Aire at the reception of the NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman. This was part of a showcase of Kansas being sponsored by Senator Moran. Earlier that day, they visited the Cosmosphere in Hutchinson, where there are many space artifacts, including some space vehicles, and an SR-71 are on display. So on April 7th, I have represented Bel Aire at the McConnell State of the Base dinner and presentation. They announced the Frontiers in Flight Air Show will be October 24th and 25th this year. This will include the Air Force Thunderbirds. On the board as well, we're supposed to be a board, but it didn't happen. Okay. So there was a picture taken of the mayors that were in attendance, Lily Wu, Mark Statz for Derby, Russ Kessler of Hayesville, and myself Ronnie Price was all from Andover was also there, but he didn't make it in the picture for some reason. So on April 14th, I attended the monthly WAMPO board meeting, and we approved the funding increase for the 47th Street project, as well as some 23 other projects in the area. This funding increase was a result of KDOT determining that prior year leftover funds needed to be allocated to existing projects. So some projects were added, others got additional funding. And this is good news for Bel Aire, as 47th Street is now funded for 80% of the estimated construction cost. And also, a commuter flows report was updated and presented at this meeting. It now shows Bel Aire has 1,400 commuting into Bel Aire for work. It has decreased over year since 2020, but 3,753 people leave for Bel Aire for work. This has been relatively flat year over year, only an increase of about 200 since 2019. And those who live in Bel Aire and work in Bel Aire, a small number, 154, has increased from 99 in 2020. So with that, I'll move on to our city attorney for her report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As I've reported to the City Council before, Kansas Open Records Act, many cities are experiencing more open records requests, and the same goes for the city of Bel Aire. Some of the most recent Cora requests have been significant, asking for information spanning years. That involves anything between documents such as emails, it could be photos, it could be permits, it could be many types of documents. And this is difficult because it does span multiple departments as well. With the amendments that were made to the statute in July of 2025, there were some additional expectations put upon cities, such as providing itemized cost statements, proactively reaching out to requesters, trying to find a way to mitigate some of those costs, anything we can do to focus on the scope of information that they're looking for. These significant core requests that we've received, city management has been proactive in getting staff together to find ways to streamline, to get coordination across departments, to see if there's a way that we can even adjust some of our workflow. So that's taking place right now. The other thing I'd like to tell council is last week, our municipal court took place here in council chambers. Typically, it takes place downstairs in the community room. City management wants to be proactive about preparing for upcoming events, and there are a couple of voting events that will take place in the community room. We won't be able to use it, so we're kind of doing a practice run. It went really, really well. Some of our dockets can reach 90 to 100 defendants on a docket. It was a smaller docket, but thanks to the help of staff and also the police department, it went very well upstairs. We try to put everything back to where it was, but those are the two updates I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Move on to the city manager's report.
Mayor, I failed you a little bit there with that picture, but he might be able to bring it up, but sorry about that.
No worries.
You can go back to the slideshow, actually. So I think as reported, Woodlawn started on Monday and actually saw some work being done today. They did a lot of traffic control on Monday. With any type of traffic pattern disruption, we're going to have some wrinkles, and we've worked this morning to add some extra signs to make it a little easier for folks. I know it's an inconvenience. We'll try to get in and out as soon as we can, but I appreciate the support. 53rd Street sidewalk is started. And if you've driven on 53rd Street, you can see how the layout's going to be in some areas. It's really nice, and look forward to getting that project completed. We have a pre-construction meeting for the 2026 street maintenance plan tomorrow. So that'll start in the summer. Excited to get that started as well. Marty just finished up in Aurora Park with the new gravel roads. I've actually received a few compliments from citizens in Aurora Park on Marty's roads. And I, again, appreciate him very, very much on all the work he does for us and his crew, of course. I know you're sick of seeing this, but software upgrade continues to show savings and efficiency. Just last month, we usually went from about 140 to 160 shutoffs a month. to 25. What that does is free up our public works crew that doesn't have to spend a whole day going out in the citizens, but it also helps citizens because a lot of people maybe just forget to pay their bill, but now it sends them a text and reminders that you have an overdue bill and they can pay it right there on the app. So very appreciative of this project, and it's already showing some advantages. Every quarter I try to report permits. I know first quarter doesn't give you too much. As you remember, in 2025, we did about 146 new living units or permits issued, and about 27 in 2026 first quarter. Not a lot of permits get pulled in the first quarter, but second quarter we'll see a lot coming in. And lastly, or some of the events coming up, garage sale weekends this weekend. Remember, you don't need a permit or a registration to have a garage sale in Bel Aire on this weekend. E-Shred Day is May 2nd from 9 to noon here at City Hall. We'll also have a short tree dedication ceremony to Cheryl Cutter and her husband. She was the city clerk for about 25 years for Bel Aire, and that will be in the rec center. And then curbside cleanups May 16th. So want to give you some shout out on some future events and a little update. So any questions? Happy to answer.
Any questions for Mr. Henry?
Just a comment.
Yes.
I'm never sick of hearing about savings. So keep them coming, Ted.
Okay, very good. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to ordinance, resolution, and final actions. The first item is consideration of a purchase contract with TCS, upfitting the brand new police vehicle. So on April 7th, City Council approved the purchase of a 2026 Dodge Durango, and that new vehicle will need outfitted with required equipment. So staff is available. I think Chief is available to answer questions regarding how that process works.
Chief, I was just kind of curious how this compares to what we've spent in past years. I didn't go back to last year, the last time we bought a police vehicle, but is this, I assume costs have come up, but is it pretty comparable to what you were expecting?
Yes.
I see we only got one quote. I just wanted to clarify that.
It's on the state contract.
Gotcha.
They bid that. The labor's not the same. I will tell you that I know Mr. McIntosh likes to hear about savings. I just heard that. So years ago, prior to 2014, the police officers did the install on the cars, and it was done with appliance wire and all sorts of things that would make you cringe. Looks like, I love these guys, but some of it looked like a plumber did it. So we shopped around. Well, what I did was I wanted it to be more professional. I wanted to be safe because some other cities in the county or across the state even did their own upfitting, and there were fires in cars because of bad wiring, and that scared me a little bit. So I had them go out and do a car and track every minute and every piece of equipment that they used, and it was I know it was over $7,000. Staff time, because they don't know what these guys know. These guys do these cars all the time. And so anyhow, this company is very professional. They have a very professional product, and it's not much over what we spent doing it ourselves. So though it might be more, I think in the long run, it saves us problems.
Mr. Mayor.
Ms. Sandberg.
I was just curious, thinking about, I know you guys are good about rotating your vehicles around so mileage roughly balances out. How long will it take you roughly to get to 100,000 miles?
It depends on who's got the car. Oftentimes, it takes a few years. Probably up to 5. Because we 20 to 25,000, I think, a year, because they're what we call hot seated. That means first shift uses it, and then second shift uses it, and sometimes third shift uses it, and it just doesn't get a whole lot of a break. So you can imagine just driving and driving, the miles stack up. And yes, we do try to rotate those out amongst our different workers and the shifts so that it balances out a bit.
Chief,
Oh.
I know that, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I know that a lot of times with these types of vehicles, they're idling a lot.
Yes.
Do you guys track equipment like total engine hours? I know that's something construction does on a lot of equipment that
We don't.
stays idle.
Although in these vehicles, there's one of those settings in the vehicle. It can tell you how many hours it's been running, but that's also driving miles, not just idle miles.
Gotcha.
What is the age of the vehicle that we're replacing with this one?
I think it's an 18 or a 19.
18 or 19, 28. Okay.
It's not in good shape.
Okay. But I know you said that you're phasing out the Explorers, and
Yes.
that's about when we couldn't buy them anymore. About 2020 is when they couldn't really get them.
To Mr. Dean's question about that equipment, the only uptick we'll see in one of these is if we get like going from the Fords to the Dodges, the prisoner transport doesn't work. So we can't just shift it from one car to another car like we normally do. We have to get new equipment. So it fits. The consoles where we put our radios, those aren't uniform from make and models. So when we switch, like from the Dodge to anything else, we'll have to get new equipment. And those are, everybody knows we're government and it's not cheap.
Mr. Mayor,
Ms. Hamburg,
I'm going to make a motion to approve the quote from TCS in the amount of $30,043.18 and authorize the mayor to sign the purchase contract.
I'll second.
a motion by Ms. Hamburg, a second from Mr. Dean. Any additional questions or discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? I hear 5 ayes. That motion carries 5-0. I'd like to move on down to item 12A, executive session. And then we'll come back to item 11B after that. Need 30 minutes, please.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. David.
motion to recess into executive session to discuss with legal counsel and receive legal advice related to pending litigation. The discussion will be pursuant to KSA 75-4319B2 for legal consultation with Neil Gosch, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship. Invite Neil Gosch, Catherine Klumsky, city manager, city attorney, city engineer. Meeting will be for a period of 30 minutes, and the open meeting will resume in council chambers at 8:18.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Dean, a second by Mr. David, a second by Mr. Dean. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0 in executive session for 30 minutes. Here, call meeting back to order, held an executive session. No binding action was taken. We're ready to move on to the next item, which is 9B. So this developer agreement and supplemental agreement for Bel Aire Lakes. The city enters into development agreements for new developments in order to benefit, to better define the responsibilities of the developer and the city before, during, and after construction. City staff and developer have reviewed the agreement. Now comes for the city council for consideration. All infrastructure except for the extra long web, the entrance along web, has been installed and completed. The developer has requested a supplemental agreement to allow limited early access to a portion of the development area in order to begin residential construction activities prior to completion of the entrance. The supplemental agreement allows the developer to begin construction on the selected lots with infrastructure work is still ongoing under specific conditions. And this agreement does not modify the original developer agreement, but supplements it to accommodate early construction access. The city engineer, Ann Stevens, is available for questions. Does anybody have any questions or concerns on the development agreement?
Mr. Mayor,
Ms. Hamburg.
I think the only thing, I didn't write down my notes, but there was a thing in there about if they damage something while they're working in there, they had to carry insurance and make sure Bel Aire was on the insurance. Maria, is that something that you're tracking, or will that be a mark before they issue building permits on Paula's side?
Yeah, it'd be something on, before we'd issue a permit. We have all the power in the permitting side, so we'll get this supplemental agreement, worked out. A lot of it's because of the unique situation going on in Bel Aire Lakes where it's just the entrance, everything else is done. And I'll let Ann talk a little more on that. We just want to make sure there's fair rules with the contractor doing the entrance and then the home builder.
Is there a reason the entrance isn't done yet? Can you walk us through what's going on there?
So this is the whole situation with the concrete box, the RCB sinking.
Okay.
So we went through, they tried to put it in the first time, it sank,
Mhm.
came back to you guys in December of last year,
Yeah.
and had a change order to dig down 3 to 5 feet. I can't quite remember.
Yeah.
And build it back up with rock. They did that, and there was too much water coming in and it sank again. So they just started this last couple days, and they're digging down to get the entrance in. So that's why it's not done. It's just
Okay.
taken
So
a
it was-
significantly
it's
amount longer
still
time than usual.
Trying to keep it from sinking.
Correct.
Okay, yeah. So I hope it works this time. If
Me
it doesn't,
too.
Doesn't they're going to have to come up with something else.
Yeah, I have reached out to PEC's geotech team, and I have requested that they come on site once that excavation is to the bottom. And that way they can evaluate, make sure that they're comfortable digging up and that bottom surface of the excavation is solid to build up on.
Mhm.
That's much easier to pivot at that point than building it all up with the rock.
Yeah, yeah.
And we'd have a little bit of money and a little bit of wiggle room to play with stuff at that point and make a pivot. So it hopefully will not be another 3-month delay to get something going again.
Okay.
And it seems like when I read through it, it's really the developer wants to start home construction. And so they're going to use the entrance off of 53rd Street instead of Webb to go through the neighborhood. And so this is really just to let them start building while the entrance is being finished. And it is kind of unique. I don't think I've seen this since I've been on council the 3 or 4 years. So, but this is just to cover, cross the T's, dot the I's from a liability standpoint for us to allow the developer to proceed earlier.
That is correct. We've had this instance, we've put similar agreements together in the past. When I first came to Bel Aire, we allowed the builders to get in early, and they brought in a whole bunch of trash dirt that the contractor ended up having to clean up on their own dime. And it's better to get the contractor out and then let the builders in. And then there's a clear separation in what's the contractor's fault and what's the builder's fault, and just kind of that demarcation of liability.
That makes sense.
So has anybody had a conversation with the development to the south that we're driving through off of 53rd, just to make sure they're okay with this type of an arrangement?
There's not really a specific person. I mean, there's several homes being built out there, but Gene Vitarelli is the overall developer of that site. And
Right.
I don't recall if we have had a specific conversation with him or not. They have been using that access road pretty much exclusively to come in and out for construction purposes as it is now.
For his own development?
For the Bel Aire Lakes development, they have always been using the access
They've been
through
using it as
53rd
well?
Street. Yeah,
Okay,
they
so
have
this is
not been
not
using
going
the
to be
web
something
road.
that in addition that they're going to be
Correct.
experiencing. They've been experiencing this all along.
Correct.
Okay. All right, very good. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. David,
motion to approve the developer's agreement for Bel Aire Lakes Edition to ratify staff's previous actions, authorizing the developer's anticipatory performance, and to approve the supplemental agreement which modifies the developer's agreement and authorize the mayor to sign.
Second?
a motion by Mr. David, a second by Mr. McIntosh. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
I hear 5 ayes. Motion carries 5-0. On to item 12B, executive session. I'd like another 30 minutes for this executive session as well.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Dean,
I'll move to recess into executive session, discuss the performance of non-elected personnel, including but not limited to the city manager. The discussion will be pursuant to KSA 75-4319B1 to discuss personal matters of non-elected personnel. Invite the city manager and city attorney. The meeting will be for a period of 30 minutes, and the open meeting will resume in city council chambers at 8:57 p.m.
sounds good.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Dean, a second by Ms. Hamburg. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Executive session for another 30 minutes. Okay, I'm going to call the meeting back to order. We held an executive session. No binding action was taken. We're open to an additional motion to extend executive session.
Mr. Mayor,
Ms. Hamburg.
I'm going to make a motion to extend our executive session by 15 minutes, and we'll resume the normal meeting at 9:14 PM.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Hamburg, a second by Mr. Proctor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries 4-0 because Mr. McIntosh is not available. Is Brandon on?
I closed the meeting. You might restart the meeting, sorry. We can make it the last one for.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, we can go on and finish this up. So anything on item 13, discussion and future issues that we need to bring up?
Not this time.
Okay. If not, we can move on to item 14, adjournment.
So moved.
Who's
Second.
Mr. David, and second by Mr. Proctor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Oh, there's Brandon. Okay. Okay, that passes 5-0. We are adjourned. Everybody have a good evening, and we will see you in